This is the 1D array from the 2022 exam. It is on a review class. So what we have going on here is we have users using a website, and there's an optional string comment field. The comment field is a review objects end with either a period or an exclamation point or a letter, or is a string of length 0. So here we have public class review, and here's your instance variables rating and comment. So here's your constructor. Get rating just returns the rating. Get comment returns the comment. So we have another class that's called the review analysis. It is a regular array of all reviews. Remember, array of reviews called all reviews. Remember, review has a rating and a comment. So the first thing we're going to write is get average rating. So, I guess we can all think about what that is. We're going to have to reach in there and get the average rating. So here's an example. We have the review analysis class, get average rating. So here we have the average rate. This rating is 4, 3, 5, 2, 3. So we would add all these up, divide by 5 because that's the length of an array, and make sure you return the double. So public double get average rating. We are going to part B says we write review analysis method. Let's see, it's going to collect comments, which collects comments in the format that contain an exclamation point. The method point returns an array list of a string objects containing copies of the user's comments from all reviews that contain an exclamation point, formatted as follows. In an empty array list is returned if no comment in all reviews contain exclamation point. Notice we're making an array list. That works great because we don't know how many objects are going to be in our array. Remember, if you instantiate a regular array, it's fixed, it's rigid, you cannot change its size. If it's an array list, it can grow and shrink as needed. So we're going to grab this string from the review. We're going to add an index followed by the original copy. So this is what they want it to look like. So we're only doing it if there is an exclamation point. Then we copy it over. So does this have an exclamation point somewhere in it? Yes. So it says we're going to copy it, but you're first going to put the index you found it at, dash, the comment right here. And if it doesn't end in a decimal or an exclamation point, then you're going to add a decimal. This one does not have an exclamation point, so it does not get added. This one does. So you're going to go the position 2, dash, great. It already has an exclamation point, so you don't have to do anything. Does this have an exclamation point? Yes. So then you're going to go over here and say 3, and so on and so forth. It ended in a decimal, so you didn't have to add anything. So a couple things we're going to need to notice is that we have to know how to find out if there's an exclamation point or not. Well, the easiest way I think to do that is to do .index of. So if .index of an exclamation point is not equal to -1, that means there is an exclamation point. So then we can copy over the index, the value. Then we only have to check if the end contains the last character, contains a decimal or an exclamation point. If not, then you have to add it. No element in all reviews is null, so we don't have to worry about that. So there's something there. We're going to write public array list string collect comment. So I'm going to first do this with a traditional for loop, and then we'll go back and do it with an enhanced for loop. I think it looks a lot better with the enhanced for loop. So the first thing we have to do is get a sum started. So of course our sum will start at 0, and we're going to traverse all the elements of the array called all reviews. So for int I equal to 0, I less than all reviews dot length. I++, and we are going to pick up an element of the array, and that'll give you the object, but then you have to get the rating and accumulate it to the sum. So we're going to call all reviews. We'll get position I dot get rating. And then lastly, we're going to return the sum divided by the length of the array, which is all reviews dot length. But we have to be super careful because it's an integer divided by an integer, so you have to cast it to a double. So this will up the sum to a double and then divide it, so then we will get decimal division. We could have, of course, called this a double and not ran into that problem, but just get used to the fact that you will have to cast, or AP will be asking you about it. Okay, so I'm going to write this with an enhanced for loop because it does look a little bit better. Also called a for each loop. So the method header would not change at all. The int sum will not change. The loop changes, so for. Now we're going to have to write the data type in all reviews, and the data type in all reviews are of type review. So we're going to grab a review object, temporary call it R, coming from the array called all reviews. So now to access it, I just say R dot to get whatever method I want on that element of the array. So when you first call this for loop, the R is going to be the position 0. You call it the next time, it's going to be position 1, so on and so forth. With the enhanced for loop, it must go from beginning to end, no skipping things, and you can't change anything in the array. You can only access it. So here, I would just say sum plus equals R dot get rating. Now that really didn't shorten this up so much, but if it was an array list, then you would have had all reviews dot get I dot get rating. So it just gets a little bigger each time, where if you can bring it down to the enhanced for loop, you don't have to worry about out of bounds errors. It's easier to call. Okay, so for part B. Oh, yeah, part B. So we're going to write that method. So we're going to have public array list string collect comments. So what we're going to do is in all reviews, you're going to have to access an element. You're going to have to get the comment. And I'm going to temporarily store that. So once I get that comment, we're going to see, is there an exclamation point? And that would be use index of. Then the next thing I'm going to do is grab the last character. And I'm going to see if the last character is a dot or exclamation point. If not, I'm going to concatenate that onto my comment. So first, let's make our array list. Let's call it the comment list. Which is going to be a new array list dot size. We're going to traverse our all reviews array. We must use a regular loop or a count because we need to keep track of the position also. I is going to be less than all reviews dot length.